Let's talk a little bit about California disability discrimination claims within the context of an employer's duty to provide reasonable accommodations or failure to provide reasonable accommodations if you believe that you have a claim. And so one of the first things we have to look at is whether the employer had knowledge of the employee's disability, because it's going to be pretty hard to establish that the employer failed to make reasonable accommodations if they weren't even aware that the employee had a disability. And so assuming that we can establish that the employer was aware of the disability, then we'll have to look at, well, what was the accommodations being requested, and were they reasonable, or did they put an undue burden on the company? And what is reasonable and what puts an undue burden on the company is a very factually driven inquiry that has to be evaluated on a case-by-case basis, because you can have an employee, for example, that's injured on the job and they're asking for a week off in order to heal up from their injuries as a form of accommodation, which seems pretty reasonable. But let's say that same employee is injured on a job and they're asking for a year off. While that might be reasonable under certain circumstances, in other circumstances, the company might have valid reasons why that puts an undue burden on the business operations of the company, or it may cause them financial hardship of some kind, or puts an undue burden in some other way. And so if you think you have a disability discrimination or failure to accommodate claim, you should definitely speak with an employment attorney about it. And if you happen to be in California, we'd be happy to speak with you.